Hello, everyone. Today we have an excellent show for you. It's our Ask Fred sequence, or actually episode, and I have Fred Cary, who is CEO over at IdeaPros, and my name's Tessa. I'm the Director of Marketing at IdeaPros, and we have your questions that you guys have asked, and we're going to answer. Well, Fred's mostly going to answer. I'm just going to support him and contribute from a marketing perspective. So thank you guys all so much for submitting questions. Hi, Jason. Good to have you here. I'm so glad. Let us know when you pop in, #live, or if you're watching the replay, #replay. And as we're going, if you have any questions, you can let us know in the chat. We do have a long list. We had a lot of questions today to go through. So if we don't get to your question, I am so sorry, but we will make sure we do it on our next Ask Fred. So hi, hello. Thank you, John, Yadira, Kelly. I see you guys all over there. Thank you so much. And Fred, the first question is actually from Victoria.
Hello, everybody. First.
Sorry. I'm just like, let's go. Okay, Fred, we got to get through them all. Yes. Hello, everyone. Victoria has a question for you. Before you became successful, what pushed you to constantly work through and challenge your fears?
Well, that one's going to take the whole show. That's a very difficult question. And the reality is we have our ups and downs, and nothing pushes you through every single day. You wake up days and you wonder what the hell you're doing. You wake up other days euphoric, and it's just understanding that it's a process and you're going to keep running into walls and be okay with that. I don't think that there's anything other than being like what I talk about on my Instagram page, having a positive mindset and waking up with a different attitude, right? You can wake up in the morning and go, my life sucks. This product was supposed to be out already. It's 3 months delay. Who caused this damn pandemic anyway? Why is there a Chinese New Year and all the factories are closed? You can look at it that way, or you can look at it in a positive way. All right, well, this gives me a little bit more time to get my marketing ready. This gives me a little bit more time to look at my competition, make sure I'm doing things right. And so I think the thing that will keep you going is never looking at a setback as a setback, looking at all those things as opportunities. And when you do that, then you can make a better product and feel better every single day, even when they're supposedly down days. That's what did it for me.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So we have another question from Jared. If you could go back in time and give yourself some hiring advice, what would you say? Hiring advice.
Well, I actually need firing advice, because if I had to, well, and I have repeatedly talked about one of my weakest points is firing somebody who's not really pulling their weight, not really doing the job they should be doing, not really carrying the company flag. But if I would give myself hiring advice, it would be to find people that have the same type of belief system and the same type of culture that you are trying to build in your own organization. You can get somebody who's a rock star that thinks drastically different than you do, or looks at the customer relationship in a much different way than you do. You need to have people that are aligned with your vision, and that's even more important than their resume. In fact, some big companies now, like Apple and Google and Amazon and others, want to know a lot more about the person, and they'll take somebody that's less qualified on paper because they really fit in with the culture of the organization. So build an organization that's culturally sound, and that everybody, bad expression, but is drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, I hope you weren't talking about me not carrying my weight.
You didn't get your pink slip?
No, please don't do that. But we have another question about hiring, actually. So what stage in your business building do you know it's the right time to hire your first full-time employee or team member?
When you can't do it anymore, all alone. And usually the first 2 or 3 hires can be friends that maybe you're going to get them to work with you for free with a little bit of equity or something. That's what's always happened with me. I always found 1 or 2 people that would help me out, that believed in what I was doing, and that would work literally for food, for pocket change, or for a little piece of the company, or a promise of better things to come. You need to remember that as a startup, you have an opportunity to attract people based on what your future is going to be like, as opposed to what you're doing right now, because pennies are going to be tight when you start out. Everybody, even people working with IdeaPros, when we go live, there's a lot of money that needs to be spent for advertising, marketing, operations, inventory, all those things, and it's a continuing factor. You don't want to throw a bunch of human resource on top of it until you really have to do it. And then again, take advantage of your friends.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that you mentioned it, when you can't do it on your own anymore. Yeah. And that was a question, great question from Brandon. I think also is when you spend time on things that you shouldn't, you might be great at it, but it's not something that you should be spending your time in. You should be building your business. So are you at the point where you need to delegate so that you can grow your business more? Is another time that you can bring in a team member to help you out as well. You're doing something just because you can, and you should not maybe be the one doing it.
That's later in the process. Certainly not when you're at the beginning. You should be doing everything, and that's why it's a big, huge leap. You wouldn't think they're way different. And oh, by the way, we have 2 courses coming up on this. One's on entrepreneurship and one's on leadership. And entrepreneurship starts with doing everything yourself, right? Or having this really, really close group. And leadership deals with dictating, making sure your vision goes out to your community of employees and service providers so that you can focus on the big picture while they carry out very well the things that that you want to have done as an organization. And we have some growing pains. We talked about that with a partner just this morning. We have some growing pains on that issue that we're trying to resolve right now. You know, what happens for me and what ends up when it gets down to some of the employees and the kind of disconnect. It happens in every organization. You have to look at it over and over again and fix it when you start losing the passion from the top to the bottom.
Absolutely. Well, then we have another question from Keith. And this one is about, basically wanted you, Fred, to comment on the process or the vision on how you transition from a development phase to a live phase.
Okay. Well, you know, when you're done with the development phase, it's like, yes, we're done. But the reality is, no, we're just starting. And that development phase, a lot of times, never goes away, right? Because you're building version 2, you're fixing problems with version 1, and so you're still in that phase in the background. You always need to be developing when you're an organization that wants to stay ahead of the curve. But when you go into that operational phase, it's like starting all over again. There are all different metrics, all different things you need to deal with, and so it's tedious, and you need to be ready for it. So when you're getting ready to launch, you better have 2-3 months at least before that time where you're gearing up for that, and you're gearing up for the different human resources you may need, consultants you may need, you know, your factories, your staging areas, whether you're going to drop ship, whether you're going to sell on Amazon. So it's a whole new skill set and group of skill sets that you're going to need to work with when you move over.
Absolutely. And I think, Bill, you mentioned too, it depends on the project. And that's true. It depends on what, you know, what is it that you're working on, and what are your goals? Where are you going on that? Completely.
No, it's all the same.
It's all the same. All the
nightmare when you switch from you know, building to selling. It's a whole new skill set.
Whole new skill set. Got it. So, question from Steve Brown, and that is, what is more important to get right for a startup? Is it the initial product or the branding and messaging? It's actually
these hard questions. I hope your team loses in the hockey game tonight.
Oh.
Though, you know, you can't separate those two things out. If I had to pick one, damn it. You can always tweak your branding, right? And you can always fix your product. The problem is if you don't have good branding in the beginning, nobody's going to buy your product. And if you have really good branding and your product sucks, nobody's going to buy your product a second time. So I'm going to answer your question by not answering it and saying instead that both of those things are equally important. And you have to have a very compelling message. If you have something in the grocery store, somebody's going to be walking down an aisle and look at what you have and say, oh my God, what is this? Pick it up and read a message that's really, really important and really, really compelling. And then they're going to take it home and buy it. And if the product's good, then they're going to come back and buy it again. But if you have shitty messaging and you're not well positioned against your competitors, they're just going to walk right past you in the aisle. So whether your product's great or not, nobody's going to buy it. So they have to work together, really. Good message, good product, and be ready to fix anything that needs to be tweaked on either end of that.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. That was perfect, Fred. Thank you. And so now we're going to ask a question. Well, actually, Sherry, you had a great question about Amazon. It's a deeper dive that we'll have to go into on that one. So we'll come back on that one and give you a little bit deeper information. So, and I'm probably Yuan, I believe that's how you pronounce your name. What's the chance of getting funding for shortfall to cover the mass production cost of basically getting your product to market or pre-sale?
Yeah, I mean, there's several ways to do that. One is if you get a purchase order from a legitimate company, like a big company and not your uncle, you can get factor money. There are companies out there that will give you 85, 90% on what your purchase order is to help you go ahead and build what you need to build. If your credit is really good, you can also get business loans. You can get an SBA loan if you have another business that's attached to your new product and you've been around for a couple of years. You can do crowdfunding. If you have the right type of product, crowdfunding is amazing. We have a bunch of products that are just getting ready to go out crowdfunding now. And if it's an electronics product, for example, like yours is, people don't expect to receive anything for 11 months, 12 months. So that's a really good vehicle to be able to get the money that you need to finish the production, finish the manufacturing, even finish engineering in many cases, and then go ahead and deliver once everything's done.
Perfect. Well, and I'm excited to see that one come out. I won't say anything more than that, but yay! Okay, so let's go on to Corky's question. What does the investor search process look like in general? What is the search process for investors?
Okay, well, first of all, 85% of new startups are funded by you and your friends and family. So let's get that out of the way. So the very first thing it looks like is, hey, Bob, you want to have a beer tonight? I got something to talk to you about. That's how that process starts. And once you've gotten to the next level, you can go to angel groups. There are angel groups in almost every metro community. We have a whole list of angel networks all over the country that we can turn you on to as well. And all you have to really do is go online and find angel groups in my community, for example, and you can present to them. You're looking for high net worth people that are going to throw $50,000 at you, $100,000 to help you get started. It's really what it looks like. But you need to have a good pitch deck that really identifies clearly, this is the problem, this is why it's a problem, these are the people who are going to want this, and this is the solution I have, this is how big the market is, and this is why I and my team are going to be able to succeed. You need to very clearly lay out those things so that an investor who's not going to give you money because you're cute or you're smart, they're going to give you money because they're looking at what you present and they think that there's an exit for them, right? An exit means in 2 or 3 years, your company is going to be bought by somebody else, or you're going to get really, really big and pay them back if it's a convertible note. So the way to get investors is to think like an investor and understand they're not going to give you money just because you have a cool idea. You need to be able to demonstrate to them that they're going to make a lot of money and they're going to be able to get their money back in some reasonable amount of time with the potential for a big return.
And we've done several shows about pitch decks and how to basically what needs to be in those pitch decks for investors. And Fred's specifically went through and evaluated some pitch decks on one of our shows, so you can see how simple and straightforward these presentations are to get your point across as quickly as possible, because they have no time. So make sure that you check those out. We'll put them in the chat as well, so that you have those resource links. And then, obviously with these the whole pitch process is something that we are documenting for our partners. So I know a lot of you have questions about that. We have the training program that's going to be attached to how to do that. And Aziz is on with us, and you actually got funding for Aziza specifically for Raw Beauty Co.
No, I did not. Aziza did.
Aziza did it.
So yeah, we're all ready to launch. All the bottles are starting to come over and going over to the factory where they're going to be filled, and it's pretty exciting. We're texting all the time now.
Can't wait. I love her product, by the way. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. So I can't wait, because I will be one of the first main residual customers for you on your subscription model.
What do you say? Is these a 5% off for her?
Please, So a couple more questions. I know we have some questions in the chat as well, and but we may not get to all of them. I promise.
Let's try.
He's like, go. What's the usual time frame for an idea to get to actual working product?
5 years.
From long. Okay, 5 years. And if you were to do it on your own.
That's what it is. We really try to shorten that time a lot. But the reality is, when you're doing it by yourself as an entrepreneur, you don't know what you're doing, right? And you don't know all of the different obstacles and hurdles that you have to go through. And frankly, and I was saying this to a partner earlier today, if you did it by yourself, your product would already be out, but you'd be calling it back in 6 months, because you're not going to have any sales. It's not positioned right. It's not working right. And so you're going in and out of that process, and it can take 4 or 5 years easily. Both Ira and Rusty, who are executives in this company, had products that went all the way through Shark Tank, got funded on Shark Tank, and it took them a few years and several $100,000, over $1 million in one case, to get those products out. But it's a long journey. You got to know what you're doing. We are trying to try to shorten that a lot, but it's a long journey to do it right, because there's a lot of moving parts.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say 4 years instead of 5.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for that. So Scott has a question. He asks, when should we make our presence known on social media, and how much information should we put out there? Yeah,
that's a good question. First of all, for our partners, we're not going to take 4 years. Don't panic.
Don't panic.
Secondly, social media can really be your friend, or it can really be your enemy, because you're going to get a message out to a whole lot of people. And so when you look at social media, you have to understand that it's a tool for you in several different ways. In the beginning, it's a tool for you to investigate the competition, to find groups like Facebook groups that may be your perfect target of who wants your product. And just, I'll use the word infiltrate, but just go into those groups, see what people are talking about, go to those companies that already have a presence on Facebook or Instagram, or even do Google searches and see what people are complaining about. Those 1 and 2 star reviews, look for some commonality. And when you're getting closer to having your product out, you put up your Instagram page and you start getting teasers, and you start developing a mailing list and start developing followers. Don't give too much information, just enough to get people excited. And you guys can check out Harry's Razors and the story that they did. I think they 11 or 12 months, they worked on a campaign so that by the time they went live, everybody wanted these damn razors. And they literally spent a year of little teasers just telling a little bit about the product, but not enough to give away your secrets. So don't give away your secrets. until you're really ready to roll.
Absolutely. And we did do a whole show on social connecting and researching and how to do that strategically from your personal profile and with nothing about your business. So I go into a lot of depth as far as how you can utilize the social media base and start building those relationships, because Facebook groups and influencers are all very cliquey and they are very good at blocking people if you make them mad or don't follow their rules. So check out that show for sure. It's got lots of information and a worksheet that you guys can use to start tracking your social media without saying anything. It's all about understanding your target audience and their pain points, like Fred said, and documenting it and making social media check-offable.
That sounds like a show that I definitely was not a part of.
You were not on that
show.
That was a Tessa marketing show completely. Fred, I don't know. You decided that you had something else. You had an emergency maybe, and I covered that show. So you guys got a little peek into the marketing world for sure. And then we have a couple more. I know we're getting right close on time. So we have someone who has an idea for a project, but they don't have a prototype or any kind of sketch done. Is there something that they can do in that case? Obviously, IdeaPros will reach out to you because I've seen it and we already told our team. But Fred, what would the next steps be in that case?
Hand puppets? No, you don't need to have a prototype when you're first starting. You really, again, if you're working with IdeaPros, we'll look at your idea and see whether or not we want to partner with you. But it's still going to cost you a lot of money. I mean, all of our partners contribute. It costs money to be an entrepreneur. You can't just have a great idea and then everybody's going to go running to you and give you $1 million. And by the way, we get that all the time. Like, I have this great idea. If you give me $1 million, then I'll be really happy. And so I tried that myself. It doesn't work.
No one's there just to give you the money for the idea.
Let's suppose we don't exist and we can't help you. When you have a really good idea, before you start thinking about prototypes or anything like that, start doing some analysis. Look at the competitors out there, who's doing something that serves that audience that you need. And I know a lot of time with first-time entrepreneurs, they say, well, I don't have any competitors. And that's not true at all. If there's no competitors, then you're not filling any need, right? And a competitor, you have to look at it a little bit more broadly. If you've got a new cereal, what do people eat for breakfast? Let's suppose cereal hadn't been invented yet. Your competition is what people are eating now for breakfast. When you have the first car in the world, your competitors were horses. There's always competition. So understand the competition, understand what people are doing now, and then figure out whether what you're thinking is compelling enough to get those people to stop doing what they're doing and come to you with your product, okay? If that doesn't pass go, then don't go any further. Revamp and reconsider what you're doing. Make sure you're coming up with a great idea. But if you don't have the capital to do it yourself, you're gonna have to get your rich uncle, you have to get a couple of buddies together and figure out how to do this. And the prototype should happen only after you get to the point where you know you have an audience, you know you can beat up the competition, and you know there's something you can probably produce at a price point that people are willing to buy. If you have a new watch for me that's really cool, but it costs $3 million, I'm not going to buy it. So all those things have to be in place first, and then you can think about prototypes after that.
And I know we've talked about this. Somebody asked this question as far as working with IdeaPros, of what qualities do you look for in choosing partners? Because you've mentioned there's the selection process, obviously, for working with IdeaPros. And I know Fred's going to tell me this is not a sales. We do not do sales calls type things on our shows, but that's a very relevant question for sure.
I think it's relevant. It's relevant for any partner that you're going to bring in to help you with something. And for me, the characteristics of my future partners are more important than the product idea that they have. Wow. Right? As long as it's a good idea, it may not be perfect and may not be anywhere near perfect. But if I know that the person who's going to be my partner really has entrepreneurial spirit, really has what was asked at the beginning of the show, about how do you get up and keep doing it, even when you have your ups and downs. That's what I look for in a person. If you have somebody who's not going to be calling you up and complaining about every delay or shipment came in and wasn't right, that's the type of character that you need to work with you, so that this very painful process of growing from concept to launch is handled well between the 2 or 3 or 5 parties that are all working together. So look for somebody that's got the right spirit that can handle the mess that you're going to get into when you try to build a product.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Fred, for literally taking rapid fire questions so that we could get through the most questions we've ever done on one of our Fred sessions. And I am going to, if you have comments or questions over in the chat, we're going to be able to cover those on another Live with Fred session, because I do see several over there. I will put you guys in our list for the next one. And I'm going to let Fred go. What was that?
I think you forgot one.
I forgot one. Which one did I forget?
You forgot the one that somebody was talking about purpose.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Hold on. Well, see. What's your fundamental purpose in life?
A trivial little question.
I know, right? There were so many on our sheet. Jacob, thank you for this question. What's your fundamental purpose in life, Fred?
And this is a question that we should all ask ourselves. And it's a question that I bring up all the time on the Instagram page, official Fred Cary page. Your purpose in life for everybody is something you really, really have to grasp onto and really find. Because when you find it, then what you do for work and what you do for your life intertwine, and you're waking up smiling. And my purpose in life has been to give back. It's been this way for 30 years or more, to try to make a difference in the people around me, and in doing so, to better myself. That's my purpose. That's what the Instagram page is all about. That's what IdeaPros is all about, helping other people that are really cool, that are really awesome, helping them be a little bit better and helping them have a better life. And hopefully, when it's my time to go, there'll be thousands of people around the world that say that, oh, fuck, helped change my life. That's my purpose.
Well, I'll do that. It'll be a little out of characteristic, but I will do that.
Right. We could die together.
But you guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and then I will see everyone over here on the chat. Thank you, Fred.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So as you know, you can hit the reminder bell before you go to get reminders when we go live. We're here every Friday at noon Pacific time with valuable information all the way across the whole spectrum of information you need as an entrepreneur. But for the moment, I want to go pop over and see a couple of you. Hi, Chris. Nice to have you here. I know we have so many people over on YouTube this time, and I'm excited to see that. John, Mountain Hummer. Hey, from Chicago. Thank you, guys. I know we have Aziza and Stephanie, Vanessa, Mary, Keith. Nice to have you. I'm glad you made it to the YouTube one. Very cool. And Ken with Crash Pad. Nice to have you. Kelly Reed, Sean Reed, Michael. Thank you guys all. Odin. I know I saw Leticia, Aziza, Sherry. Oh my gosh, everyone. Thank you for being here. I know I can't even make it through this whole list. Let us know before you go, let us know what your takeaways were. What did you find was most valuable to you in this show? Because I know this rapid fire format can be really, really overwhelming. But let me know if you got any tips and tricks out of this one. Not tricks so much, but information that you can take away, and for sure, if you are not on our email list and you want to get notification before we go live, you can actually get text reminders, which is what a lot of you popped through on was text reminders. Oh, Bill, can you put your link in, Bill, so I can show your product information? So High Rise Sports Chair is actually, it's doing great. And I want to put that into the chat. We have quite a few products of partners that are on the show with us. I know I have Twistlet, and let me see if I can get Twistlet. High Rise Sports Chair is Bill with, and he actually got an award. You can put the link to the article there too. And then Twistlet, which is also one of our partners. And I'm just taking a second to show it. Okay, so this is a purse that you can slide your phone into. And I don't have that's crazy that I don't have my phone. But this is one of the products that you actually slide the long handle through and then you wear it on your wrist. And you can go, this is great for clubs and everything. So I'm just bragging on our partners because we have the most amazing partners ever. Thank you guys all so much for being here. And we'll see you guys next Friday at noon Pacific time. Thanks, guys. Okay, so apparently Livestream won't shut down the feed. So there was a lovely little outtake for you guys. I'm closing it again, seeing if it will work. Here we go. Bye.